all I know about the gut health and the microbiome. We covered it a little bit on the ICV weekend, but today I'm going to be doing a little bit more with this. So I need to share my screen with you. First of all, I'd like to stop me being in there, share my screen, and go in and into the presentation. And here we go. Okay, so it's really interesting how gut health and the microbiome is the in subject today. Everybody is just talking about it. So I'm going to explain to you what is the microbiome. So the microbiome is actually consists of microbiomes, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and live on the inside of the human body. The majority of them live in our gut, particularly in the large intestine, but also they live on our skin as well. So the gut bacteria is about the size of our brain and is being referred to as our second brain. And links have been found between gut health and the brain. And I'm going to talk about that a bit later and how they affect all of our body hormones and neurotransmitter. So the reason why it's called our gut is known as our second brain is because the brain, the gut has got more neural activity than in the gut, than in the brain. Sorry, the gut has more neural activity than the brain. And the gut and the brain share the same tissue, structural features. They resemble each other. If you look at a picture of the brain and the large intestine, they all look the same kind of thing. And then how do they communicate? They communicate via the vagus nerve. So the information goes from the gut to the brain and from the brain to the gut through the vagus nerve. They work independently, but they're also interdependent of each other. And the gut is responsible for the production of hormones and neurotransmitters. So I'm going to talk now about also how these microbiomes actually start in our body. So I'm going to talk about the majority of them are formed during normal birth, because then the baby is exposed to the vaginal microbiome, which it survives on for 2 years. And after the first 2 years, after it's been born, it will start to make all the other microbiomes for the different parts of the body. Also, they get a little bit of the microbiomes from breast milk. Now, babies who are born by C-section and feed formulas are more likely to struggle with their immune system because of the lack of the health, not having the gut bacteria to start with that they needed when they were born. So there is a lot of, let's talk about microbiome a little bit, which we've done. Okay, so global, sort of global news says that we have got crisis from every single disease you can think of because of the balance of our microbiome. So we're going to talk about things, simple things with children. Let's start with children. Autism, ADHD, obesity. And now we're going to talk about everybody else. We can talk about diabetes, autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, Alzheimer, dementia, cognitive function, you name it. Thyroid issues, immune issues, ME, just to name a few. They are actually all related to our gut microbiome. And now what I'm going to share with you, how does the production of these hormones in the body is affected by the microbiome. So the happy hormone, over 90% of our serotonin is made in the gut. The GABA hormone, which is our relaxation and calmness, is produced in the gut. Also, the gut helps us to produce melatonin, which encourages good sleep. oxytocin, which makes us feel loved, trust, and self-esteem, and deal better with emotional trauma, mental and emotional traumas, and dopamine, which help us to motivate ourselves and to take action toward our goals and dreams. And our alertness with noradrenaline is produced in the gut. Now, if the balance is tipped of our gut flora, we stand no chance of producing these hormones, which will then be fed through the vagus nerve to the brain. And then you can see and understand why people tend to feel like they do when the gut flora is not balanced. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about fertility because this is quite a hot subject right now too. So our gut bacteria are an integral part of the normal and regulation mechanism of our body to keep estrogen levels normal. So they help to normalize estrogen levels in the body, and they do it in a very clever way. So in the liver, more estrogen is bound to bile acids than needed, with the knowledge that some of it will be coming back thanks to your gut flora or gut bacteria. And then special enzymes from gut bacteria are able to cut estrogen free from the sugar, which can then be easily absorbed and re-enter your bloodstream. So can you see how estrogen is regulated by a healthy gut microbiome? So if the balance is tipped, is estrogen going to be balanced? No, and hence fertility issues are on the rise. They also help us to break down our food into micronutrients for proper absorption. The beneficial bacteria works with fibrous foods to bind things like heavy metals and estrogenic chemicals that we don't want in our body. They also maintain the integrity of the gut wall. They are responsible for the products or for the production of some vitamins. And also, I'm going to talk now about dysbiosis. What is dysbiosis? Dysbiosis is when the abnormal microbiomes are tipped. The balance is tipped between good bacteria and bad bacteria. What I have learned over the years, we should have 85% of our gut microbiome as healthy microbiomes, 15 as the bad guys. And let nature sort itself out. Let the good guys keep the bad guys at bay, kind of thing. So what causes dysbiosis is that balance is tipped. It's the other way around. We have more of the bad guys and less of the good guys. And then so it's to do with the quality and the quantity of the flora, where we have more pathological, harmful bacteria in the body that causes dysbiosis, which they call it leaky gut. And when this happens, by the way, you also have faulty tight junctions between the villi in the small intestine, which they call leaky gut. Leaky gut means chaos, and it means a leaky brain. And then out of all of that, we'll have a compromised immunity, endocrine system is affected, and gut health and obesity will be affected too. So let's just have a look. Here we are. So the microbiome, yeah. Humans have 100 trillion cells, 10,000 different species. So we are actually only 10% human cells. 90% we are bacteria, fungi, live on us and on us. So the right balance is clear. So can you see now what I'm talking about is the root cause of all health concerns is emerging now. The science is emerging to tell us it's actually to do with our microbiome health. There is a global health crisis, and it's all down to that. So what are the causes for this dysbiosis? I'm going to call it that, by the way, or where the balance is tipped. We're going to start with our way we eat and our lifestyle. Food is today designed for taste buds, not health. We eat far too much sugar, additives, salt, and bad fats. And I think you all know that. And then what tips the balance again? Taking antibiotics and medication. Not only does medication deplete us of some vitamins, by the way, in the body, but also they kill the good bacteria, particularly antibiotics do. They don't know the difference between good and bad. Everything just gets destroyed. Now, what's interesting about the oral contraception is that it depletes the body of zinc, B12, and folic acid. Now, if somebody's been on the pill for 10 years or more, they might want to consider to take some support for their gut flora, just so that they can get the balance right. The coils. We talked about this last time with the coils. The marine coil is not a good idea because it will have the hormones in it. Maybe the copper coil is a bit better, but just be aware that you need to support your gut flora if you're taking the contraceptive pill for more than 10 years or so. Now, alcohol is another factor. Evidently, for somebody whose immune system is low or the microbiome is tipped, the balance is tipped, if they took 2 glasses of wine, this can even make their condition worse or help the bad bacteria to flourish in the body, or the bad microbiomes, I should say. And because alcohol is acidic, and our gut flora or microbiome likes to be in an alkaline environment in the large intestine. So just be mindful. And Claire and I were talking about when is the best time to drink. And for me, it's definitely mood. And Claire said, only when we celebrate, we should drink. And I noticed since I've done the microbiome kit, is actually, I don't crave the alcohol anymore. And when I drink 1 glass and I feel quite satisfied. I don't need any more. So quality rather than quantity. Now, the other factor that could tip the balance of our microbiome is the obsession with cleanliness, and also sterilizing our hands. And just be mindful with that, please, because there are some cultures like the Indians and the Arabs tend to eat with their fingers, and there are some good bacteria in our fingers. So when we eat with our fingers, we're actually putting back some good microbiomes into our body. And also, as kinesiologists, we know we have the ends and beginning of some of our meridians on those 5 fingers, left and right. So you're stimulating your body as well by eating with your hand rather than cutlery. Now, also our diet evidently is low in fermented foods. Now, Eastern Europeans tend to be much more into fermented foods than we are here in the UK. And also fermented foods feed the good bacteria and help them to multiply. Well, the biggest cause of all of this is stress. And it's been shown to damage the gut flora. And again, so we will have a lower stress resilience as well, because our gut, so it's a double whammy. So what causes cardiometabolic dysfunction? If you have a toxic gut microbiome, the toxins travel from the gut to all parts of your body, creating inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, insulin resistant, fat deposition, and the cardiometabolic dysfunction. Fix the gut and you fix the problem. It's really as straightforward as that, and I will talk to you about that in a second. So 4 key steps to create optimal gut health to reverse inflammation. So inflammation is created by the imbalance of the gut microbiome. Plant your garden, pretend your gut is your garden, so plant it with probiotics to colonize the gut, and then fertilize the gut with the prebiotics to help a healthy bacteria. And weed, there's a bit missing here of this slide. And weeding your garden, that is removing the culprit foods like the sugars and all the white stuff, high release carbohydrate foods like white rice, white potatoes, white bread, you name it, to name a few. Okay, and then they've done an experiment here just to show you how the microbiome makes us fat. So they took a sample from twin sisters and they put them into a twin mice from the same litter, and both mice were the same size, germ-free, whatever. And the one that was injected with the obese twin feces put on weight, and the one that was injected with the lean twin feces stayed lean. So please take that into consideration if somebody's trying to lose weight and they're not losing weight, and look at children who are obese today at a very young age. It could be just the root cause of their issue is the microbiome out of sync. Whoops. Now, Dr. Matthew Tripp here, he's a microbiologist who has created this amazing kit called Purify kit for a company called Synergy. What does it do, this kit? Basically, it detoxifies your body, which means also it cleanses the digestive tract and balances your microbiome. All these 5 products do all of these things, and the kit consists of 5 products: Biome Shake, Biome DT, Biome Actives, Body Prime, and Pro Arginine. So I'm going to share with you just quickly what's in these products and how they work. So the Biome Shake is a vegetable protein, balances the microbiome and repair with amino acids from protein. This is a vegetarian and a vegan product. It also has inulin, which is the insoluble fiber that is, everybody talks about it right now because it feeds the good bacteria. And it helps to detoxify the body, so it enhances elimination, it supports the digestive and immune system, and it activates the detoxification with broccoli powder and zinc, and it tastes of vanilla. Now, what I learned about zinc, which I would like to share with you. So when you are on this program, you're taking a little dose of zinc about 4 times a day. Evidently, zinc is a heavy metal. We don't really absorb it very easily because it's a heavy metal, but that's why you cannot take one big dose and say, this is it for the day, and think 50 milligram will be fine for me for the rest of the day. We need to take it in small increments so the body can break it down and help us to do it. Well, it helps us to use it to do all the other functions that zinc does. The Biome DT eliminates heavy metals and other toxins. So it cleanses, it lubricates and soothes the digestive lining. It has a microbiome balance because the inulin feeds. It's a soluble fiber that feeds the healthy microbiome. It has the L-glutamine in it to heal the leaky gut. And it has a second meal effect. So you take it like a snack away from food. You take 1 sachet between breakfast and lunch, and 1 sachet between lunch and dinner. And these are the times when we tend to crave something sweet. Our sugar level drops, and it will give you a second meal effect. So it's going to be filling, but it's also an amazing, amazing detoxifier. And the Biome Actives is the gut flora. It's got 3 billion FUS of Bacillus coagulans. Now, these are spores. They are not a bacteria. They're not, so they are spores. They are not destroyed by heat, so you can use them in your cooking. They're not destroyed by the acid in the stomach. You can take them with food, without food. They don't need to be put in the fridge. You can open the capsule and add them to your food, like for children who can't swallow capsules or whatever, and to repopulate the gut flora. They also have prebiotics in them, which is inulin, to encourage healthy bacteria to flourish. And another job of these Bacillus coagulans, they encourage other microbiomes to multiply in your gut. So 2 more products here in the kit is Pro Arginine. I'm going to talk about that later on in December. But for now, just think that Pro Argi here is doing the job. It does a lot more, by the way, but just for now here is to circulate everything in the body properly, because you could be taking the best nutrition in the world. If it's not getting to the right part of the body, forget it. You're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. So Pro Argi for here, for now, it's just to help all these products to get to the right part of your body and to do their job properly. Body Prime, it has like a laxative effect kind of thing, but it's not a laxative. It's magnesium with prune powder and apple pectin. Now, it's interesting, it's magnesium oxide in here. Now, medically, they have proved that magnesium oxide, what it does, which is very clever, it softens the stews. It makes the stews wetter. So they hold on to more water so that they're easy to pass. And then what I learned about magnesium as well is magnesium is another heavy metal like zinc. We don't absorb it really very well. But very clever here, you have the apple pectin in it. And apple pectin contains succinic acid. And succinic acid helps us to digest magnesium better. So we will get the relaxing effect of the muscle. So it will reduce muscle cramps. It will help with the bowel movement because of the other thing it does as well, which keeping your stool soft. So recommended foods. You eat these microbiome-friendly foods for snacks and meals to maximize your success with the Purify kit. For dairy, you can use unsweetened almond, coconut milk, yogurt, kefir, sour cream. Fruits, you can eat all these fruits. Legumes, the same thing. You can eat soybeans, dried beans, lentils, chickpeas. That's if you're tolerant to them. Protein, again, by the way, and for vegetarians and vegans, they can have tofu, tempeh, veggie burgers, nuts, and what have you. Now, what I have found with nuts, what I learned about nuts is best to soak them so you reactivate them. Evidently, we do not digest the skin of nuts, like almonds with skin on them, because they have phytates and they're very hard for us to break down. Remember, they are there to preserve the nut for a long time, so we don't break them down. So if you soak the nuts, they're going to be easier to digest and we'll get the benefit from them better.
That's about 10 minutes.
Right. Seasoning and condiments, dry and fresh herbs, all spices, mustard, lemon, lime juice, salsa, vinegar, soy sauce, stevia, but not your mayonnaise or salad cream or tomato ketchup, because they'll be full of sugar and chemicals. Vegetables, you can eat all the vegetables you like, except for things like potatoes and root vegetables type of thing. So this is it for now. This is the program. And if you want to order these products, please contact me either on my mobile, WhatsApp me, or PM me on Facebook. My mobile number is 077 126 50048. That is 077 126 50048. Or you can email me on fatimaford@btinternet.com. That is fatimaford@btinternet.com, and it's all lowercase. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to having some feedback from you on the community. Thank you for listening, and speak to you soon. See you soon.